Hi, and welcome to Basics in the Lane Training with YGY. All right, we're going to keep this short and sweet as usual because the idea is to keep everything simple, keep everything duplicatable, keep everything to where anybody can do it. So I have this screen shared, Basics in the Lane, and we do this. This is a part of a system that we have with Team YGY Life and YGY in general. And so systems bring success. So this is part of the system. And it's for anybody to come in and get a refresher. Good to do it regularly, to do exactly what it says, to stay in the lane. So this is the general overview process of how to be a network marketer in YGY. And the thing that everybody starts with is their why, the great enough reasons why. So for myself, I got into doing this for several reasons. Not having enough time freedom. I was struggling with some health issues. I didn't have the health freedom I wanted. And I, feeling like a slave at my 9-to-5 job, I definitely wanted financial freedom. So, and I would like to take care of my parents, as they age. And so the why is going to get you out of bed in the morning. It's going to push you through the more challenging times. It's going to keep you up late at night. It's going to keep you driven. It's going to pull you along. So if you're here and you're listening to this training, chances are you already considered what your why is. So again, welcome, and feel free to join in and chime in if you have any questions or comments. So your why is going to motivate you. Your list is going to be 200 names if you're going to do it full time, typically. You start with 200 names. And if you want to just, some people join the business just to make enough to pay for their own products. And so you start with 200 names, and it's going to become an active list. And you ideally want to add 5 names to that list 5 days a week. I call it the 5-by-5 method. So, excuse me one second. Sorry about that. All right, so you want to prioritize the list. Okay, so we're going to prioritize the list by people. There's 3 categories that you want to put a check mark next to each name if they qualify. That is, you have mutual respect with them. You know that they have a need, and you know that they have the money to start with the mega pack right away, because that's going to bring the biggest advantage to them if they are doing business. So got your huge list of names. You empty your brain, you empty your phone contacts, you really want to brainstorm that, get that all out on a paper so that you can really make it active. And I heard from a mentor that she takes all the names with 3 check marks, makes kind of a separate, more present list, if you will, to work from, so that, obviously you're starting with your highest priority, right? Makes sense. Okay. So prioritize your list. You want to do the interview. So you've got your list of people. You've got 10 names, let's say, to start with 3 check marks. So you're going to start calling these people. Hey, how's it going? You want to set up some kind of a meeting. It says the coffee shop interview, which is great. Most people drink coffee. So you just get together in some fashion and have a conversation. And this can be basic or it can be in-depth. And if you're going to be a professional network marketer, you definitely want to be honing your skills at this, because it's really valuable to be good at conversations and become a master listener. So you want to get together with these people and find out, if there's a need, if they're not completely satisfied. Those are the things you're listening for. Man, I work too much. I wish I had more time with my kids. Or I've heard doctors say, well, I make plenty of money, but I have no time for it. I'm, nailed down to this job. Or there are other people, like myself. I'm an occupational therapist in my day job, and I love what I do, but I realize that I'm in a broken system. So that part I don't like, and that's why I'm going through this training and the system. I'm applying the system so that I can get out of that kind of exit strategy. So, okay. Conversation framework we'll talk about in a minute, and that comes from a wonderful network marketing book, one of our 2 Bibles. We'll talk about that in a second. And so you have this conversation with the person, and you expose and educate. So what does that mean? An exposure can be a short video that you send them. It can be a conversation, 3-way conversation on the phone with your upline about something. It doesn't have to be your upline. There's someone in our organization that's not in my upline that suffered with a certain thing, and if I have interviewed somebody who's suffering from that certain thing, I'm going to try to connect them on the phone. So that's an exposure. Educating, maybe the Dead Doctors Don't Lie CD, whatever it is, expose and educate. So you're asking this constant process of asking permission, doing the conversation framework, and saying, hey, can I, do you want to get on a 3-way call? Can I, the biggest exposure, the most important exposure is to invite someone to a who meeting. Not a what, but who. You're talking with someone, they have a need. Oh man, you've got to meet my mentor, or whatever it is. Inviting someone to a who is more powerful, we're learning, than a meeting. Network marketing is getting more and more well known, and so people are a little bit more leery of being invited to a meeting versus you got to meet this guy, he's amazing, and edifying. So that's how that works. And some people, 1 or 2 exposures and pieces of education, that's enough. Like, I'm on board, I get it, let's go. And other people, it takes 12 because, different personalities, different ways of thinking, whatever it is. But, the key is that you're developing a relationship.
Hey, Lindsay?
Yeah.
Can I make a comment?
Yes, please.
So, you know how we edify the who?
Yes.
So for a long time, I really didn't understand why we do that so much, and it almost seemed to me kind of corny at first, but I have a better understanding now of really why we do that. And when we edify the who and they finally meet the who, they're able to receive it. They come with anticipation and they receive.
Yep.
With much more clarity than if you don't edify them.
Yes.
I just kind of wanted to add that in there.
Thank you.
Because I remember thinking, well, it's kind of weird, edifying someone so much, and it almost feels a little bit fake. But if you understand the reason behind it and how that it'll benefit them because they'll be able to receive better, it kind of gives you a better perspective.
Right.
So I just wanted to add that.
Thank you.
Okay, bye.
Yeah, and I've seen that firsthand, and when I was first a year ago, doing this, it did feel a little awkward and I didn't feel fake about it, but it was just kind of awkward. Just like the conversation framework's a little awkward at first until you kind of get into the flow of it. But yeah, it is really effective, and I hate to say technique because it's that sort of devalues the purpose behind it, because edifying your upline is because you already know how awesome they are. So it's important for the person that you're exposing, educating and giving exposure to. It's really important for them to understand the value there. You already know what their value is, so you really have to bring that out and communicate that so that they understand that this person's time is valuable. They're helping a lot of people. Their heart is to serve. They're really amazing and all of those things, because you're really, I think we all recognize that, or most of us should recognize that, the heart to help part of us, the life inside of us, we recognize that in each other, and that's kind of the draw. And so for me, it needed a little bit, that was kind of something that clicked for me. It's not so much the person, it's like what the person's purpose is, what they're doing. what, they've been given this this desire to reach out and help people and change the world, and that's awesome. So it's not so much the person, it's their purpose. So that, for me, like unhinged that whole kind of awkwardness. So if that helps. Okay. Ben, you still with me? All right.
Yeah, we're with you.
Cool. All right. All right, so you have done your exposures, you've brought them to a WHO meeting, they've watched some videos, they're really excited, they come to the WHO meeting, they want to sign up, you get them signed up. You ideally schedule a meeting 24 hours after that, because I don't know about you, but anything that I've ever started, whether it's, a workout plan, whatever, you don't want to get all excited about it and then have nothing happen for a week. Like, no, you want to build on that momentum. You want to make an appointment about 24 hours, the next day, to sit down with this person and do exactly the process that we just talked about for you. You go over their why, you write down the names. So you want to have them prepare a list, at least of 50, before the 24-hour meeting, ideally. And that's a good thing too, I think, to even more qualify, even more gauge their seriousness, which ideally has already been done, but just as a kind of a show me, bring 50 names to the 24-hour meeting kind of thing. So you want to clarify their why with them, really draw it out, emotionalize it with them, and that adds to that momentum. All right, so we're almost done, guys. Okay, so you do the why, the list, the interview. You go over all this stuff with them. You teach them what you know and what you've already done, and you plug them into the system. And you set up expectations. They can expect to get their money back in 30 days. If they plug into the system and they're serious and they really want to do it, they can plug in and they can get their money back in 30 days. And the other thing is, they should know, a little extra security net there, is that there's the 30-day money-back guarantee that Longevity offers. So pretty much a win-win there. Most people don't do that. Most people go for it. So, okay, because, you really want to get them paid as soon as possible. That makes sense. And senior associate in a week. And 1-star executive in a month. Okay. So the second page here. All right, so this person that you've signed up, the communication, the 1, 2, 3, 4, you want to talk to them every day. If they sign someone up, ideally you want to talk to that person every other day. If they sign someone up, ideally you want to talk to that person every 3rd day, 4th day. So how that works. And discuss with the people that, the business builders, because it's a partnership. Hey, if life starts to sweep you away and you kind of draw back and disconnect, how do you want me to handle that? So you want to establish that ahead of time, because there are challenges with this, and so it's just a good idea to establish that. How do I pull you back in if you're getting swept away by life? Because it'll happen. It'll happen. Success is a system. So getting them plugged into corporate calls. Team trainings, team meetings, our book club. We do personal development books, which is really valuable. Convention in August. Woo-woo! We're going to Texas. Really excited about that. And our Facebook group, and we have an app called Voxer where we all communicate with each other, which is really cool. You can post pictures and videos and talk into it. It records your voice. That's a really good tool. All right, so I mentioned these 2 books for being a professional network marketer. So I mentioned book club too, real quick. Recommended reading list. All the books from book club are from that list, but obviously you're encouraged to read them over and over and over at least 5 times, according to our mentors. And so the How to Sell Network Marketing Without Fear, Anxiety, and Losing Your Friends is the right-brained, connecting with people's emotion side of network marketing, and that's where the conversation framework is found super, super valuable. There's a separate training just on that. It's that valuable. So if you are watching this and you run across something called, hey, conversation framework training, tune into that. That's a really important one if you want to do this, because that is the nuts and bolts of this whole thing. Being able to have a conversation with someone that allows them the opportunity and the gift of self-discovery and drawing out for themselves, really. You're just facilitating them coming out with what do they want and why do they want it and why is that important to them, and those kinds of, there's 7 questions that you memorize, and then we fine-tune that in that training. And then the other one is the GoPro, the 7 skills. That's more the left brain how-to, step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4 of how to do this. So the left brain how-to side of it. Both are super important, super important. All right, and so some additional just tools that Longevity has. 90 for life. The whole thing, I'm sure you've heard it if you're watching this. 90 for life, 90 essential nutrients for the rest of your life and in order to live. And so that's like our motto, that's the core, that's how the company started. So ideally everyone, should be their foundation for the whole thing. Whether they want to run off with the mineral makeup or the Mia Alicia jewelry or whatever, ideally everybody's on the 90 because that's the heart of longevity. The Healthy Body Challenge is a great tool that Longevity uses to get people plugged in as well, and to get them started, and to get them plugged into the culture of doing things, as a team or a group. And that's just what it sounds like. People are getting healthy. A lot of it is weight loss, obviously. So they award the winner with an award for that. So that's pretty cool to see that. At convention, they show the videos of how what they did and how much weight they lost, and bring them up on stage, and it's really cool. So, and then the Mega Pack, that is our gold standard. The Z Radical Mega Pack, we're not going to talk about anything else besides that because that's the most valuable, not just for what's in it, but for the financial aspect of this whole thing. So that's what we found. Are you next? In the YGY marketing system we talked about a little bit. So when you become a CEO, like that, theoretical, you get they send you a lot of pamphlets and booklets and workbooks and things to market this and to really launch your business. So and that wraps it up. So it is pretty simple. Anybody can do this training. It's great. The best way to learn not only is repetition the mother of all learning, but learning how to teach someone something gets it really in you. So if you're thinking about doing a training, it's not that big a deal. You can do it. Get with the person who invited you to this training if you are interested in some other trainings. And if you're doing this business, you ought to be. So thanks for joining me. Thanks for your time. I respect your time. It's only 8:19, so good. Kept it under half an hour. That's great. Anyone have any questions or comments for me before we sign off?
Thank you.
Welcome. Thanks, guys. Appreciate you.
Have a great night.
You as well.